Welcome to the Uncensored Self Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gillen, and this is a space where women who value achievement, success, accomplishment, and wealth, but also crave happiness, love, joy, and deep fulfillment come to remember that we get to have both. Not by doing more, but by being more of who we truly are. In this show, we explore identity, energy, alignment, and embodiment because you didn't come here to follow someone else's rules. You came to right your own. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the show, where today we're going to talk about your energetic standards. I am your host, Ryan Gillen, and I am so pumped about this conversation because, as usual, it came through very intuitively. So at the time of this recording, I have just finished the first Stop Running Your Business Like a Man in-person workshop that I hosted here in Kansas City, and it was just pure magic. Like, everything about it was magic and incredible, and the expansiveness of the room, of the conversation was just really great. And coming off of that, and then I had a really full weekend, which normally would have given myself time to recover, but it didn't work out that way. So I'm just like kind of feeling into what it feels like to be a woman who hosts really transformational events and like what that could look like on a bigger scale, and really thinking through that. And then I'm listening to a recording in the membership that I'm in. I'm headed to the park with the dogs. And all of a sudden she starts talking about energetic standards, which is wild because that was a conversation that we had in the room when we were talking about the energetic standards of like the type of clients you're calling in and the type of business you want to run. And I was like, this is exactly it. This is what we're going to talk about on the podcast today. So again, fully intuitive, but I did do a little bit of planning and thinking about this because, as always, I'm doing the work right alongside you, right? Like I never claim to be ahead of you on this journey. I never claim to be an expert or guru. I'm just a woman who's experiencing and sharing and following, my intuition, following what I feel like God, source, the universe has put on my heart to share with each one of you. So let's dive into how this all works together, right? We've been talking about, inviting our feminine energy into our business, right? We talked about sales and marketing alchemy, our voice, stop manifesting money and clients. I did a really raw episode last week. So now we're at this point where, what does it mean to set an energetic standard? And to me, it's what am I available for, right? Like, we get into this work and we learn about personal development, and we learn about, we can be, do, and have whatever we desire. And we learn about universal law, and we start to do this work. But then it's like, well, but what do I want, right? Like, the number one question my coach asks me most often, and I ask my clients most often, is, what do you want, right? What do you want? And then once you determine what do you want, it's why do you want it, right? Like, what about it really lights you up? And then how does it feel? And then when it feels natural to feel the way that you want to feel, who is that woman, right? Like, that's the process of manifestation, if you will. And as we go through this, we have to change our energetic standards and boundaries, right? We have to change what we're available for. If you want a different result, you have to be an energetic match to that result, which means you're going to have to set energetic standards and boundaries that are very different than what you've experienced before. And so today I'm going to talk about some of the energetic boundaries and standards I have really been anchoring into and playing with, and really even working through, like, rewriting some of my own rules of how I want to experience the world, and just some really, really cool stuff I'm going to continue to share with you guys about, like, really owning the fact that I'm the creator of my reality, which means I get to pull apart everything and rebuild it in a way that really fucking lights me up. So what are now my energetic standards for the business? What does that look like? So again, coming from this place of, if I'm the creator of my reality, and I am, my results become a reflection of the energetic standards. If I want a different result, I have to have a different energetic standard. So I have some reflection questions I'm going to share with you here around, like, what are the energetic standards and boundaries that go along with being the creator of your reality? What would that look like? So for me, an energetic standard and boundary that go along with being the creator of my reality is, I just don't really entertain doubt anymore, right? I don't entertain overthinking. I make decisions and I stick to those decisions. Like, that's an energetic standard that I have, right? Like, I don't do the mental gymnastics, or I minimize the mental gymnastics. That's a standard and a boundary that I'm working on. So, like, what would that look like? And then who's the version of you running the business that you want to run? Really spend some time thinking about this. Like, who is that woman? How does she show up? What does she want? And continuing to refine this over and over and over again. Because as I've shared with you in my story, when I started a business and I decided I wanted to make $1 million, it was for completely different reasons than why I want to build a multi-million-dollar business now. Like, couldn't be further from the truth, right? And the woman that was running that business is extremely different than the woman who is building this business, right? So I had to really think through, what is this version of me, and what parts of her, that past version of me who did this before in a really masculine way, what do I want to keep? And then what new standards do I need to set, right? What does she believe to be true? The woman who is running the type of business that you want to run is, does she believe that she gets what she wants out of life? Does she believe that when she commits to something, it's inevitable? Does she believe that people want to work with her? Does she believe that people want to pay her, right? Like really thinking that through. How does she make decisions, right? For me, she makes decisions quickly and they're based on her gut, her intuition, her knowing, not her budget or her credit card balance or anything like that, right? How does she move through the world? For me, it was moving through the world with my eyes up, right? Like I didn't realize how closed off I was until like I started going out into the world and going to the grocery store again and people would like make eye contact and smile at me. And I was like, hi. I didn't realize that it was me who was blocking that, right? So I'm just playing around a little bit. I'm going to give you, I put together 4 of mine that I have really been working on. So that's just the energetic questions. Those are the process that I went through and I guess can continue to go through and continue to refine to come up with these standards. So the first energetic standard that I have around the business specifically is that my clients are all in. My clients are all in. My clients are all in. When they decide they want to do this work, they are all fucking in on doing this work. And I don't have to soften myself. I don't have to change myself. I don't have to prove myself. They are all in. And this energetic standard has really actually changed more than anything. It's definitely changed my service delivery. Like my service delivery, my confidence in my work is so much higher. But what this belief and this energetic standard is, it's really made my sales and marketing process really very simple, right? Because if my clients are all in, there's nobody here that needs to be convinced, right? There's nobody needs to be chased. I'm not chasing anybody. My ideal clients, the women that I work with, they are all in, which means that I am not chasing them. Does this mean that I never follow up? No. Does this mean that I stop asking for the sale? No, but from a really intuitive place, not from this chasing energetic place, right? If somebody's all in, I don't need to pressure them, right? Like there's no reason for that. When women wind up on my calendar, the thing they want is just they want to make sure that there's alignment. And I totally agree with that, right? The people who just click to buy my programs, like they're ready and they're here for it, right? I really stopped doing a lot of things in sales and marketing when I set this energetic standard. And that's why, like I said, at each up level in your business, as you're playing the energy game, you're going to have to start thinking about what's different here, right? Because there was a version of me who didn't believe that people were all in, who did believe that I had to convince people to work with me, that did believe that I needed to stalk people until, they told me to fuck off, right? There was a version of me who believed that. So at this level and at the business I want to run and the identity of the woman I know is running a multi-million-dollar business, my clients are all in. And so I have to think that, right? I have to talk about that. I have to feel that. I have to believe that. And then I have to act like that. What is somebody who believes their clients all in acts like, right? Like I expect the best of my clients. I expect my clients to renew. I expect my clients to buy multiple products and programs for me. They're all fucking in on this work. And it's because I'm all in. When my clients are all in, I don't have to make it personal when somebody says no. I also don't have to make them wrong, right? If somebody says not right now or, or whatever that looks like, they're not wrong and I'm not wrong. It's just not aligned right now because I'm only available for clients who are all in. So if somebody is a no or a not right now, or I need to think about it, that's amazing. That means when they are all in, they'll come back if we're aligned at that time. And so I only work with people who are all in because I'm all in, right? This is the energetics behind that. How do I become all in? I'm all in on my work. I'm all in on myself. If I want my clients to be all in, I have to be all in on myself. And what does that look like, right? Do you see how this continues to be like this journey into who am I and what does this look like, right? So then the next layer of this for me, or the next energetic standard that I've really set for myself and boundaries I've set for myself in the business is if you're forcing it, it's not for you. If you are forcing it, it is not for you. I don't force anything anymore. And I want to talk about, I think this is really important to talk about the difference between forcing and stretching to grow. Right? Forcing is like trying to put a square peg in a round hole. They clearly do not fit together. And like maybe if we try hard enough and they're made of the right material, we can whittle them down enough to fit together, right? Like that's forcing. Stretching feels uncomfortable, but expansive. It's like we got a square peg and we got a square hole, but they don't fit together perfectly yet, but they will. They will. And it feels expansive to make that happen. And so for me, that's how I make decisions, right? Like I make decisions in the business is like, am I forcing this? Is this something that I am trying to make happen? Or is this something I'm just having to stretch and grow and build my faith a little bit or build a new belief or believe in myself, right? So to me, and how do we tell the difference? I always say like your body always knows, right? That is why I talk so much about stillness. That is why I talk so much about nervous system regulation, because if you are in survival mode and you are in fight or flight, you really can't feel your body and hear your body, right? That's why in all of my programs, one of the first things I teach and talk about is nervous system regulation. Because if you really want to get the nudges and get the intuition, you have to be able to be in your body. When my son throws a baseball, he just started coach pitch baseball. Oh my God, it's so fun. I'm sorry, kid pitch baseball. And this past weekend or 2 weekends ago, by the time you're listening to this, we had their first fall tournament and it was so fun. He pitched for the first time ever. I missed his first pitch because I was coaching the volleyball team, but that's a moment for another day. But I got to watch him pitch. And like, that's always like when he was serving in volleyball, that was always my thing. Be in your body, right? Get out of your head, get out of the overthinking and the mental gymnastics, right? And be in your body. And when you're in your body, again, it is uncomfortable, right? You're still standing on the mound. There's people like looking at you, like there's still some nervous energy in that, but it's an expansive energy, not square peg, round hole. I really hate it here. That sort of thing, right? That's why I'm so passionate about nervous system regulation. So for me, it's very much like business. And this happens, this is across life. Like we're talking about business in this conversation, but for me, if you're forcing it, it's not for you. So that is business, that is relationships, that is marketing, that is mentorships. Like if it feels forced, it's just gotta be a no. Like it just has to be. And it's revisiting that often. Like you don't just decide once when it comes to alignment. Like this is a constant. I was talking to a client. She's one of my all access past clients and her first 6 months is up. And so we're talking about like, how do we want to continue this work? And she's like, I can't believe I've grown so much, but I still feel like there's so much more to do. And I'm like, that's the human condition. Like life is for expansion. Spirit is for expansion. Our souls came here to expand. You're never going to get it done, right? Abraham says that, right? Like you're never going to get it wrong and you're never going to get it done. Like every single time you achieve something new or experience something new, there's going to be a whole new set of desires that are birthed from that. And that's part of the process, right? Like that is part of the process. And so for me, it's, we want the expansion, but when we are starting to force things, again, we're getting overly into our masculine energy, trying to control things that aren't for us, right? We're not listening to the intuition and the nudges and things that are telling us, hey, we're on the wrong path. So that's a really big energetic standard for me that I have been just filtering everything through. Here's another one. I don't dim my light. I don't dim my light. I don't dim my light. And let me give you some really, the only way I know how to explain this is an example. So I'm looking at my notes right now. So I was invited a couple of weeks ago by a colleague, a client, a friend to come speak. And it was like the day before my event that she wanted to host this event. And so when she called me and she said, hey, would you be available to come speak on this particular topic? And I said, sure. Like first I was like, oh, that's right. The day before my event. And she's like, well, that's the only day I can really do. I can't do this and I can't do this. And of course I said yes. And then she was like, this needs to be practical. Like, I don't want to spend too much time in the energetics. And I was like, hey, well, like, what about this angle? And what about this angle? And it was a topic that I don't normally speak on. Right. And I said yes anyway. Like I said yes anyway, when I knew A, that I didn't want to do anything the day before my event because I really wanted to take care of my energy. I also knew B, that so much of the topic she wanted to talk to me about was going to be rooted in energetics. And I was going to have to kind of tap dance around what I wanted to talk about. Right. But I said yes anyway. I said yes to me, that's saying yes to dimming my light. And so then the week before the event comes around, I reach out to her assistant and I say, hey, I'm prepping for the event. Do you need slides? Like, what do you expect here? And she's like, oh my God, I forgot to tell you, registration has been down. There's a lot of other events this week, so we're just going to cancel the event. And at first, I'm going to be honest with you, I was pissed because I was like, really? But I mean, I think I was pissed at myself. Like, of course, but it was me. Like, I knew better. I was willing to dim my light. I was willing to dim that light. And so there's two things that happened here. One, like I'm seeing the fact that got canceled is like divine intervention. Like that's protection. I say this so often to my clients. What if it is an answer to a prayer? Which that is true. Like the answer to the prayer is you wanted the day to prep. You wanted the day to be present. You wanted the day to take care of yourself and your energy. And you got it. And forcing yourself to be in that room talking about something you don't want to talk about is not aligned. Like we're not doing that anymore. And so but again, I was willing to dim my light and it created this mental gymnastics and it created some stories and it created some energy. It wasted energy, right? My life force energy is what creates. And I gave it to something that was asking me to dim my life. So for me, I'm again, doing this work alongside of you is I'm not willing to dim my light for other people. If I have to turn myself down, I'm not fucking doing it, right? Recently also, someone very close to me told me that I'm hard to talk to. Ryan, you're hard to talk to. And I, of course, got a little defensive. So again, little defensive. And I was like, well, how so? Like, how am I hard to talk to? Well, you always want to debate. Well, do I want to debate? And of course, I totally put my foot in it because it's like, of course you want, but it's like, I just tend to ask clarifying questions. Like you said that I'm hard to talk to, but I don't think that's a universal truth. Like I literally get paid to talk to people for a living. Like, I don't think I'm that hard to talk to. Like people like, look at what I do for a living. To me, these things don't ring true. And the way you're stating this is like it's a fact. You're hard to talk to. And it's like, that's not a fact. That's your opinion. And again, you're entitled to your opinion, but don't go swinging your opinions around like they're facts. And of course, again, I made her point that why I was hard to talk to. But again, I'm hard to talk to because I speak the truth, because I don't just take other people's word at face value. Because again, I don't believe it to be true that I'm hard to talk to. Am I the type of person who's going to have an open and honest conversation with you? Abso-fucking-lutely. Do some people find that confronting? I'm sure they fucking do, but I am not willing to dim my light for other people. If you can't back your shit up, that is a you problem, not a me problem, because nothing comes out of my mouth that I can't, like, I don't write any checks that my ass can't cash. And actually, that's not true. I do it with Derek a lot, and I'm like, okay, clean this up, right? I can't imagine saying something like that, like factually, like you're hard to talk to somebody when I know that I just have one experience of that person. Like to me, that doesn't make sense. It's my experience, but clearly other people. I'm going to give you another example of this. There is a woman, this is kind of a weird, convoluted story. So I had a client who I loved and adored. She's an excellent client. She was a private client for about 6 months. Well, my sister worked with somebody else who also knew that client, but her, like, really didn't like her. Like, she's not trusted in the industry. Nobody likes her. You know, she's horrible. She's awful. She's ripping people off. And I'm like, that is 1000% not my experience of this person, right? Like, I'm having a completely different experience. She's excellent. Her clients love her. She gets her clients great results. She's an excellent client. She implements. But again, it's like everybody has a different perspective. So for me, it's like I can dim my light to try to fit into everybody's box. But who loses in that scenario? I do. If you can't handle me and all of my magic, then you're not a match right now. And that's okay. What I've really learned what to do with here, though, is to not make that other person wrong. That's been my work. Like, you can think that I'm hard to talk to. Like, that can be your opinion, but I'm not going to stop asking questions because you think that. But I'm not going to make you wrong. And that's, I think, what has like been the biggest growth in me, because in the past, I would have felt the need to prove that person wrong. Let me tell you why you're wrong. And it's like, I get, I'm sorry that you feel that way. That's your experience. I'm not willing to accept that truth. And so for me, I don't dim my light for anybody. And if my light is too bright for you, or my voice is too loud for you, or my opinions are too strong for you, I'm sorry to hear that. And so like, that's my energetic standard. And I'm like holding it more and more and more, and I can feel it. And gosh, it feels so good. Like, it's totally changed my marketing. It's totally changed the way that I'm showing up in my work. It's been a really good one. So this is a really good, like, energetic standard. Okay. The final energetic standard that I want to share with you, that I am really anchoring into right now, is money responds to me. Right? Money responds to me. And this is an internal standard, right? Like, so far we've been talking about external standards, right? We've been talking about my clients, right? The standards for the clients I will call in, right? Number 2 is if you're forcing it, it's not for you, right? So that's about the work that I'm willing to do and the things that I'm willing to do to bring my vision to life, right? Number 3 is like, I don't dim my light. I speak my truth. Well, number 4, like, this is an internal standard, right? Because money responds to me. Money responds to me because it's between you and you. So my new energetic standard right now is money responds to me. No more mental gymnastics about money. No more worrying about money, right? No more, should I think about it? Should I not think about it? How do I manifest it? Am I thinking about it too much? Am I not thinking about it? Like, I don't know if you've heard this before. So I'm on a GLP-1. I'm very honest, like, open about it. And one of the big benefits of being on a GLP-1 is that your food noise goes away. And so what I mean by that is like the constant mental gymnastics about food that I used to have before I started taking this medication, about what I should eat and where I should eat and how much should I eat and what's the best way to eat. Should I be eating keto? Should I be following Weight Watchers? Should I be in a calorie deficit? Right? Like, it was constant, what I call mental gymnastics with my clients around food. And when I started taking the GLP-1, the food noise went away. And I just don't obsess over food anymore. Like, food is a non-issue in my life. Like, I love food and I enjoy food. And don't get me wrong, I crave food and I get excited about things, but there's not this noise about food. But what I realized is that I have that same noise about money. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it coming? Where is it coming? Where is it at? Where is it at? Is there going to be enough of it? I know this bill's going through today and this is going through today and that's going through today. And once that comes in, and if I hit this dollar amount, I could put these dollars over here, right? Like, can you hear all of that frenetic energy in my body when I talk about that? Like, that's what was going on in my head. So I had to set an energetic standard of like, no more, no fucking more. Money is responding to me. Money is responding to me. That is my new energetic standard. Money responds to me. So no more mental gymnastics, just like no more food noise, no more mental gymnastics, right? I'm going to use another example for you is like, I don't think my mom listens anymore, but whoops, if you do, mom, like, I definitely went through a smoking phase in my 20s. I was never like a regular smoker. I never identified as a regular smoker. I was a social smoker, right? Like, we went out for drinks, and I mean, we could still smoke in bars when I was in my 20s, right? And when I was in college. So but I never identified as a smoker. right? I never identified as a smoker. I always saw myself as a social smoker, right? So I just didn't identify with it. So when I decided I was done with it, it was easy to walk away from. Like when there's people who are really caught up in being smokers, it's not just the physical cessation of quitting smoking, it's then the identity of being a smoker. It's the same thing. Like I had the identity of being somebody with money shit, right? I had that same identity. And so I have to quit the money drawn the same way, which for me was cold turkey. Like I'm just not available. Like money is always responding to me. And so any doubt that I give it, any mental gymnastics that I give it, it's always going to respond to that, right? So it's responding to me. And how do I know? Because that's what you're thinking right now. Like, how do I know what I'm broadcasting? Well, what are you getting back? Right? Like money is responding to what I broadcast about it. If I think it's limited, if I think it's scarce, if I think it's hard to make, if I think that I'm not good enough to make it, if I think I haven't worked hard enough to make it, it's going to respond to that. So what do I want? Right? What do I want money to be like? I want money to be overflow. So for me, the feeling of money is responding to the feeling of overflow, more than enough, more than I know what to do with, right? Like overflow. Okay, cool. What does overflow feels like? And how do I know what I'm broadcasting? By what I'm getting back. What I put out, I get back. What I put out, right? So if you believe it only shows up through hard work and struggle, that's the vibration you're sending. If money feels inconsistent, that's because your energy is around it inconsistently. That's why most people tend to make enough money, but not because like you consistently believe that you can make enough to pay your bills, right? Like you consistently believe that you can you can hit your survival plus goals, right? Like I call this the B plus goals. Like you can hit that. So you would like to be making, like I'm going to use some examples. You would like to be making $30,000 a month, but $20,000 a month covers everything and does the things for you, but you're not really there, right? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? But because that's the energy you're aligned with. Like you're like, oh, well, I know that this route is tolerable. I know that this amount, like I can do this. I'm an energetic match to this. So what you're broadcasting is what you're getting back. And I shared this in some of the money in last week's podcast, right? In the money identity and Manifesting with God podcast last week, I talked about this, right? But how do you know what you're broadcasting? Because the standard of like money responds to me. What are you getting back? How's money showing up to you? Is it showing up in fits and starts? Is it showing up infrequently? Is it showing up in more than enough? Is it showing up in just enough? Is it showing up sometimes when you really fucking need it and your back's against the wall, all of a sudden you can pull it out of thin air, but you can't just experience it easily and naturally? Money is responding to you. So the thing that I have really been working on, again, in this energetic standard is money responds to me. And money is my friend. Money is a tool. Money supports me. Money shows up for me when I need it. And as long as that's the energy I'm putting out about money, that's what I'm going to get back, right? So let me kind of land this plane for you today. These 4 standards, these are energetic standards and boundaries of which I look to it's the lens of how I want to move through the world, right? I want to move through the world through the lens of my clients are all in. And when that is my lens, when I believe that my clients are all in, when energetically I feel that my clients are all in, how do I show up? What do I say? What do I do? What do I believe to be true about myself, right? Like that's the work here. And the second one, right? If I'm forcing it, it's not for me. Okay, cool. That's my standard. So if it's forcing, how do I show up? I don't force anything. I trust my gut. I feel into, does this feel good? Yes, no, I don't know, right? Again, I don't dim my lights. Got it. If I can't speak my truth, if I can't talk about what I want to talk about, if I'm softening my message to be more palatable for you, if I'm, compromising myself in some capacity, it's not for me. How do I show up? What do I say yes to? What do I say no to? Right? Money responds to me. If that's my energetic standard, I already told you, money is my friend. Money is a tool. Money is something that is built to support me. It is responding to me. Right? And all of this, guys, ties back to alignment. These are the boundaries that keep your energy clean. These are how you create intentionally and not reactively. Most of us look at the money in our bank account and we react to it. So the energetic standard of money responds to me. I'm not responding to money. I'm not waiting for money to look a certain way or accumulate a certain amount or give me permission to do something. I'm deciding money responds to me, right? That's how we do this. This is how we create intentionally, right? So I really want you to spend some time reflecting on this. Like, what are your energetic standards? Where are you still tolerating things that don't match your frequency? I gave you some examples here today. Where are you dimming? Where are you forcing? Where are you waiting? And I think what's most important here is it's not about perfection, right? It's about awareness. Because as I shared with you, I still trip, fall, and stumble over this every single day, but I recover faster and I notice faster. And like, there's a time where something like my friend canceling that event, and me having to reach out to do it and not even hearing, like, it would have put me in a tailspin for weeks. And I don't know, put me in a tailspin for like an hour, right? So that's what we're talking about here. How do we let the triggers don't feel as big big and we recover faster, you're not never going to be triggered. I think that's a very common misconception in this work. You're never not going to be triggered, right? You're not going to keep the boundary 100% of the time. But right now, if you're keeping the boundary 20% of the time and you can keep the boundary 30% of the time, how much better does your life get, right? This is about retraining your brain, rebuilding this relationship with yourself where you're the one who's deciding how it's going to go. You're the one who's deciding how life works for you. You're the one who's deciding what you're available for and what you're not. You're not just taking what's thrown at you. That's the magic, right? That's the magic. I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for doing this work for me. I really want you to feel into this, like set your standards accordingly, And finally, I want to invite you to join us in Sales and Marketing Alchemy. This is going to be such a big part of this, right? Like we're talking about sales, marketing, money, relationships, how we see our clients. All of this is going to come into play. Energetic and standards and boundaries are like, what are you available for in your business, right? Like, again, what kind of clients are you available for? How do you want to start seeing people? So this is just two pieces that work together, right? So these are, again, energetic standards and boundaries. And then what we're going to do in the workshop is what comes up for you, right? When I say money responds to me, and like what comes up for you, because you probably have feelings about that. I know that I used to have, like, people would say shit like that. I had feelings. I had big feelings, right? That I'm like, fuck that. Money responds to me. Like of course I want tons of money. I work my fucking face off and money is not responding to me. Like I remember feeling frustrated and enraged by these types of conversations at one point in my career. So I don't want, and this is why I continually remind you guys that I'm doing this work alongside of you, because I think there are a lot of people that talk about the subjects that I talk about, that has always been their reality, right? Like one of the mentors that I follow, whose membership that I'm in, like she's beautiful and incredible and very good at what she's doing, but she's always been in energy work, like her entire career. She didn't grow, like I grew a career and a business in a completely different way. Like I have a whole set of beliefs that I've had to completely unlearn and relearn. So my teaching is that, right? Like I know that information in and of itself, while it is powerful as fuck, and studying this information will change your life. And I do believe that even the free content I put out in the world is transformational if you do the work, if you do the reflection questions. Like I believe that in my heart of hearts, right? But I also believe that really big, really rapid transformation happens in conversation. It happens in somebody else holding the mirror up for you. And so that's why I'm teaching this in a workshop. It's not just going to be me lecturing at you. It's going to be a dialogue. And I also, after again hosting my 2-day event, when we come together as women, like the collective consciousness just rises. Like who you're asked to be is just somebody different. When you get in a room full of women who believe this shit, it is like electric in such a wild way. So not only the content and the transformation, but who you're going to meet and who you're going to become by being in that room. So it's going to be really incredible. But there's 3, I'm going to give you the practical. What are you going to learn in the Sales and Marketing Alchemy workshop? What are you going to learn in that workshop? I want to make sure that I give you the correct information, because y'all know that sometimes I go a little rogue. So here's the 3 things that I'm going to promise you in this workshop. You're going to change your identity about sales and marketing. You're going to change your identity about sales and marketing. And what I mean by that even after 20 years in this field, I still used to see sales and marketing as something I had to do. It was pressure. There was a right way. There was a wrong way, right? And if I didn't do it right, I wouldn't move the needle. If I wasn't marketing, clients wouldn't come, right? Like I had a lot of wild beliefs. And again, constant mental gymnastics. And we've talked about mental gymnastics today, right? And when your energy is scattered like that, you can't create. So in this workshop, we're really going to change our relationship with that, again, through our energetic standards and boundaries. So you see how these 2 things work together. You're finally going to clean up your money energy, right? I believe that money is the reason why most people struggle with sales, right? If all you had to do was talk about your work and then just give it away for free, like you could so easily do that. Like, but when money answers the conversation, things just fucking get weird for us. So in this workshop, we're going to clean that up, and we're going to work on really changing the way that we talk about our stuff so that the money stuff we can kind of bypass it, if you will. Really good stuff. And then finally, you're going to start seeing people differently, right? Like I was talking about the fact my clients are all in and that energetic boundary, but this is a big one. I think there's a really big dialogue that hurts women when we talk about chasing like high value clients or luxury buyers in the real estate space, right? Sell things to rich people. That's very much an Alex Hormozi thing. And I think that entire paradigm is rooted in lack, right? When you are the creator of your reality and you embody the identity of the woman that knows how fucking powerful you are, you start attracting the right people. You don't have to think about like, I don't know. I just feel like when we do that, we start seeing people as dollar signs and we start judging them and we start thinking that we're better than them and we start thinking that we're separate than them, because that's what we're taught to do. But this whole work is about, we're not separate. We are all one, right? Like the law of divine oneness. We are all created from the same stardust. So why do you want to see the people that you want to sell to as leads or prospects? And guys, I come from doing this. So these are really big shifts that I had to make. And they have changed everything in my results. So I'm going to teach this to you in a 4-hour workshop. It's $297. You're going to get the workshop. We're going to do an integration call. So 7 days after the workshop, it's on November 12th. And then on the 19th, we're going to do an integration call. So we'll be able to come back together, do a little Q&A, share some wins. That'll be a lot of fun. And then I have 2 really great bonuses. One being my Feminine Energy Archetypes Masterclass series, which is all about masculine and feminine, the dreamer, the doer, the alchemist. I fucking love that series. Like, I listen to it once every 2 weeks, and it's my work, right? And then an energy shift day, which is a one-on-one private shift day with me, and holy bananas, like the work that we do in a day together is so fun. And we're doing all of this for $297. I am so excited for this time, for this work, for this conversation, for the women we get to become when we do this work. And I'm just grateful for you. So the link is in the bio for all of the things. If you have questions, please reach out. You know, I say this so often, like, I am open and available for a conversation. I love connecting with people. It is part of what I do. So yeah, we want to make sure that we pass a vibe check. If you have questions, if you're unsure, hey, this is where I'm at, like, I'm totally open to that conversation. I don't do anything high pressure. I don't, I'm not going to stalk you until you say yes. I'm just really open to making sure that people feel really good about the investment they make in themselves. Talk soon. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Uncensored Self podcast. If this conversation cracked something open for you, trust that that's the work. And share this episode with a woman in your life who's ready to stop performing and start creating. And if you haven't already, hit subscribe, leave a review. It helps this message reach the women who need it most. Remember, you're the creator. The rules are yours. And your uncensored self, she already knows what to do. Keep leading, keep listening, keep becoming.